Okay. Hello there. I'm Keo Saroni Beatmaker, and welcome to Lounge Ronin. All things, everything. And on this episode, we're going to discuss the Golden Globes and ritual themes. Now, I apologize. There were some technical hiccups, but I'm back. So, without further ado, we're going to jump back into the Golden Globes. Now, I know the Golden Globes happened a minute ago, but I wanted to cover this again, or I should say, cover it because, it was pretty interesting. And I wanted to share my thoughts. And just with everything that's going on, hello there, Sam. Can you hear me? I apologize for all of the hiccups, but we're back. We're good to go. The audio is good. If you would so kindly hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Share the stream if you like, if you're enjoying the content when we jump back in. So I'm not gonna hold us up any further. So let us dive into the Golden Globes. Okay. Now, this thread is brought to you by Cyclops, the ND Experience. Highly recommend if you are a Twitter user to hit him up on Twitter and let him know the Ronin sent you his way. So, 2023 Golden Globes Ritual and the Sacrifice of Lisa Marie Presley. Okay. The Golden Globes were held on January 10th. January is named after Janus. As I have been tracking, all the major public events are filled with portals and symbolism. Okay. All right. 11 equals portals and the pillars. The stage at the Golden Globes had one Golden Globe on each side, serving as the pillars. Here we go. Keep in mind, ladies and gents, this stream might get a little kinky in terms of what we're going to be diving into. So if you need a safe word, please put one in the chat. I see we got 3 in the live. Greatly appreciated. Let's make those 3 likes. I really would appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by and taking the time to join me on this globe of a quest. So let's keep on going on this deep dive. I found many programming examples linking the heart to portals and sacrifice, the Vax, black goo, possibly graphene, etc. I will show you more through examples proving that the heart was at the center of this ritual. Now, what he means by programming is, I'm sure some of you have heard of like predictive programming or, manufacturing consent by Norm Chomsky. So the whole idea with like predictive programming or like manufacturing consent is for the elites and what have you. It's their way of kind of putting the karma on us. So, for example, I'll use this example because of what's going on right now in Ohio. There is actually a movie just came out called White Noise, with Adam Driver. It's on Netflix, and it's about a family in the 1970s that lives in Ohio, and a train derailment happens, exploding poisonous chemicals into the air, and the whole film is about this family that lives in Ohio where this event happens, and them trying to escape the city that they live in. So that's predictive programming for you, kind of manufacturing the consent. You think about the amount of people who like Adam Driver. There's some talented actress in it as well. So you have people who go and watch it and like, oh my god, this is great. They share it. You got to watch this film. So it's kind of like you're manufacturing that out there, and but then there's also the other side of and I was listening to shout out to Hotep Jesus. He had a doctor on talking about the explosion. I know we're getting off topic, but we'll circle back. And he was just kind of talking about how you could either look at the situation as, as I was putting manufactured consent, a controlled demolition, or you could look at it as the past 3 years have caused such a strain on the supply chain within the United States, and the fact that the head of transportation of the federal government is too busy going on honeymoons and pretending to give birth in hospitals. But I digress. That's another issue. Lack of employees, people cutting corners, corporations with their greed and don't want to follow procedures. But the point is that I imagine that if you were to watch the film, you would have the exact same thing. People cutting corners, greed, what have you. So let's get back into it. Oh, and I should also preface that graphene oxide. Well, graphene is it's like a smart material, or not really like a smart material. It's literally like a goo. Currently, right now, there's scientists are working on using graphene as a programmable matter that could go into the body and take out, if there's like shrapnel, or if there's clogging, things like that. So there is a positive application for some of these technologies, but we also have to keep in mind that with any technology, the first people to get their hands on it is the military. Before any good can come out of it, they need to first know if they can use it to kill. What a wild world we live in. Okay, so What the Flock TV has found the heart problems from the vacations to be ritualistic. On YouTube, I have to use certain words just to preface you. Cardiac arrest equals Cardia, the female consort, to Janus. Janus equals door. Cardia equals door hinge. He and others have also found many Janus references, all the facets of the pandemic. And I would like to preface for the YouTube guidelines that the vaccines are safe and effective, and they are God's grace to this beautiful, beautiful earth. Anyways, for example, the sterilization serum in the TV show Utopia is called Janus. It's a vax designed to cause infertility, to solve overpopulation by a character who runs a company that produces lab-grown meat equals Bill Gates. Well, that's a little bit on the nose. Oh, like I said, strap yourselves in. All right. So hold on. Let's look into this. All right, Janus. This is the All right, Janus is the top secret project at the heart of the network's machinations. Okay, this is about the plot for the show. Developed initially by Philip Carvell, its purpose is to sterilize 90 to 95% of the human population in order to prevent the destruction of the Earth's environment and the descent of excuse me, of humanity into wars over resources. It is split into two parts to avoid detection. A protein called GCHN1, which is added to all industrial farmed corn, and amino acid put into vacation for Russian flu. On their own, the components are harmless but trigger the effects when brought together. That is the show with John Cusack. Spoiler alert, the show got canceled. And I'm sure you can, if you know, put on your critical thinking skills and maybe put just one layer of tinfoil hat on there, and you can imagine why that show was canceled. You know, show was hitting a little too close to home and was revealing a little too many secrets. You know. All right, so the show is about a comic book called Utopia that contains predictive programming for the pandemic that was intentionally released solely for the purpose of distributing the vacations. The Bill Gates character is known as Mr. Rabbit equals portals, Gates. The show added this disclaimer. Now, you know, portals, follow the white rabbit, the Matrix. Elon Musk recently tweeted that. This program is a work of fiction and not based on actual related or current events. It contains scenes that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. So, and this is what I mean about the whole manufacturing consent and the whole idea of predictive programming is they kind of put this stuff out there in front of you to, you know, aid in their machinations, so to speak. All right. Steven Spielberg's Fabelmans won 2 Golden Globes. The movie was released 11/11/22. The cinematographer of the film is Janusz Kaminski, a longtime partner of Spielberg, and you know, you look at his name, Janusz. Okay, it's kind of right there in front of us. They worked together on Ready Player One with numerous Janus-inspired scenes and Easter eggs. Let's check one out. If you haven't seen Ready Player One, this is not really much of a spoiler. It's okay. It's a decent film.
And everyone's been trying for years to win this race with no luck. So Wade just has a thought. He's going to go back to the research, and he listens to Halliday's. And he says in this, he says, why can't we go backwards for once? Backwards, really fast as we can. Really put the pedal on the metal, you know. So that gives Wade an idea. So to win, he has to drive the DeLorean backwards. He has to go backwards to go forwards. Back to the Future again. So obviously everyone starts and they're shooting off, racing, pushing each other out of the way. Wade has an idea. He just hits the reverse and goes straight through an underground secret passageway. He goes all the way underneath the course to the end. He goes through the archway, the finish line, to where he meets Anorak, where Anorak gives him the copper kit.
Now, if you've ever seen the TV show The Flash on the CW, if you notice, anytime he wanted to go back in time, he would have to go backwards. And if he wanted to go to the... Wait, no. What did he... Yeah, if he wanted to go to the future... No, if he wanted to go back to the past, he had to go backwards. If you want to go to the future, no, he couldn't even go to the future, actually. Could he go to the future? I think he could. But I know he had to go backwards. But in order to open portals. Because even in the Flash, like even in the Speed Force, you had to open portals. You had to generate enough speed, enough vibrational energy to open up the portals.
And also with the first key, you get the first clue, which leads on to the second challenge. It's interesting, a lot of symbology and things that I will get into later. I just want to give you people a quick recap of the film and the challenges. So you can see why I had a wry smile when it's talking about you have to look back to the past to look to the future. Come on, that's basically one of Giannis's traits. He can see the past and the future. He's present, he's invisible because he's here in the now. So it's crazy, isn't it? And I'm going to show you all the 11s a little bit later on and other things that are fine. But just look at him. He's talking about giving people knowledge, a key to a secret door. Come on, that's Janos. I mean, I know this can be anyone with a beard, but come on, you can see the likeness. It's even in the same hand. Come on, it's not hard to see when I put these things in. Obviously, it's just my interpretation. People just won't get it. But come on, I can see the likeness, even like a weird broken nose too. And Halliday, he wrote his personal journeys and he called it the Anorak's Almanac. It's even on the key, AA. Well, A, given its numeric value, is 1. So AA is 1, 1, which is 11. Janos' number, the number of the doorway. And for anyone who's just watching for the first time, I'm going to show you a little bit more on that before I show you all the 11s, just so you know what you're actually trying to watch. Well, hopefully. I chuckled to myself when I saw this, especially for Ready Player One. So, right, have a look at this. The cinematographer for Ready Player One is a guy called, yeah, you got it, Janos Kamelinsky. Now, he works with Steven Spielberg a lot. But what's the odds on that? You might say it's big, you might say it's nothing, but I just found it funny considering what I'm talking about in his video and certain films that he's worked on, like AI. It just blows me away when we find these connections. You know, some people say, Paul, don't say coincidence, but, you know, sometimes it can be, or...
Interesting.
And everyone's been trying for years to win this race with no luck. So Wade just has a thought, he's going to go back.
The Fablemans with a heart around Christ. Okay, a scene from The Fablemans with a heart around Christ on the cross equals sacrifice. This movie is set in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is involved in this ritual and ties to Janus, birth, death, beginnings, endings. Janus equals lodestone, equals Ban equals Banu, equals Phoenix. And Phoenix right now is, and how fitting, right? You know, you have the chemical incident in Ohio, and now we have one going on in Arizona. So things are coming in doubles. Now, do we do that? Hold on. Sorry. Got a little distracted. Okay, that's not playing, is it? No. Okay. Interesting. Now, if you notice, you know, waves, you know, the vibrational energy. Even down here, you have different. That's not. I'm not sure. That's not a sine wave, but it's a type of frequency wave. There's different types of waves of frequency, and you know, if you know, a lot of people always kind of wonder, well, you know, how was the pyramid built? How was the Cusco wall built? How was, you know, Pumapunka built? All these different, you know, massive sites. You know, you can even look at, you know, I don't. How many of you knew about the fact that there is a pyramid in Indonesia, and it's and it has one of the oldest known gold coins known to man. And you want to know where this gold coin was made? It was made in Turkey. So, you know, ask yourself how one of the oldest known coins that was ever found, made in Turkey, but then made its way all the way to Indonesia. But I digress. I do have a live stream talking about the pyramids and how they're all connected and a lost, you know, ancient world civilization. but that's near here or there. But the point is that, a lot of, portals and all that, there's always frequencies. You need some form of frequency. You need vibrational energy. And that is always a theme with anytime you look at anything with any films or that have to do with portals opening. There's always some kind of frequencies that are going on. You look at it, it's out there, it's always there in front of us. It's just fascinating. So let's keep going. Okay, the first award during the event was given to K. Hugh Kwan, equals Waymond Wang, in Everything Everywhere All at Once. K equals Janice. Kwan equals coin equals Janice. This movie is all about portals with tons of Janice coding, and the protagonist Eve resurrects like the phoenix. They worry about the grandfather having a heart attack after flying from China. Of course, this was a real problem after the COVID vax. I would like to say that the vaccines are safe and effective, and God's grace to earth. There was a brief black goose scene. A heron equals phoenix, and a third eye equals pineal equals Janice. Michelle won also. The pineal gland is very important to our third eye and our individuality, freedom of thought. All right. The second award was given to Angela Bassett, equals Queen Ramonda in Black Panther. In Wakanda Forever, they focus on recreating the heart-shaped herb that gave the ancestral visions, out-of-body experiences, and the powers of the Black Panther. The herbs were destroyed in the first film. He or she who consumes the heart-shaped herb becomes a Black Panther through a ritual that has existed for generations. Fruit from the flower is offered to one who is worthy to claim the mantle. Shiri. The heart-shaped herb is a plant native to Wakanda that was traditionally consumed by those who held the mantle, the Black Panther, in order to obtain enhanced physical abilities. Okay. So I'm sure some of you out there have seen the film, or at least the first one. I did not watch the second one. I mean, the fact of the matter is oh shoot, sorry. The fact of the matter is they killed T'Challa. You want to know how they killed T'Challa? It's so messed up. In the what is it? In the film, you know how he dies? In the film, he dies, you won't believe it, by a virus. That's what did him in the film is a virus. It's like, really? Like, that's how, really? Crazy, but to be expected. All right, here we go. All right, so the Black Panther rises from the ashes in a sense. Queen Ramonda dies when she sacrifices herself to save another character. This film was also released 11/11 and features The Pillars. The antagonist is the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl equals Phoenix. Now, I'm gonna let you guys know one thing. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to pick Quetzalcoatl as the antagonist, considering that I believe it was the Aztecs would do human sacrifices to him. So a little on the nose, and they couldn't even they technically couldn't even name him. They couldn't call him Namor, or they had to call him Namor because of name rights. Because oh yikes, indeed, yeah. Because I think Universal owns the name rights. So instead of Namor, they had to go with a hard R. But it's just interesting that, well, fitting that Disney would pick a god that people would do human sacrifices to. But Disney has their own shady past, and still is. Ties to mind control and other things, but we're not going to get into that today. All right, the feathered serpent army uses sound to hypnotize and control minds, similar to sirens. This could be a 5G graphene reference, a lodestone. Bassett mentioned how fast her heart was beating during her speech. In their downright creepy attack on the American mining vessel, the Tolokanil thin out the herd of soldiers on board by utilizing some form of hypnosis. Several of the Tolokan soldiers sing a hypnotic tune that causes the people within earshot to jump off the ship without question, and the same can be said for the ill-fated Wakandan emergency crews who were stopped by the singers during Namor's siege on the African nation later in the film. It's an ability that isn't all that dissimilar from the sirens of Greek mythology that sang tunes to lure sailors to their deaths. So, okay, the first three presenters of the night were Jennifer Hudson, Jennifer Coolidge, and Jenna Ortega. Whew. Jenna equals Heron equals Phoenix. Jenna equals Jane equals Janice. Jane the Virgin is where Jenna Ortega got her first start. Really? Jane the Virgin. Do I know that film? I don't think I know that film. Okay. Alright. Jenny, personal name, originally another form of Jane. Janie, a diminutive of Jane or Janet in modern use, typically, or shortening of Jennifer. Jenny is attested from c. 1600s as female equivalent to Jack, and it applied to all animals. Interesting. For my language arts enthusiasts. I gotta see that film. I hear it's really good. I hear it's like what? Like Angry Men, I think they referenced it to, which is an old film. If you ever seen like the '90s film of Dennis the Menace, the old neighbor, he's in that Angry Men. It's a funny little film series. Okay. Jenna Ortega was nominated for Wednesday, and Wednesday, the antagonist performs a ritual using Wednesday's blood to open a portal and resurrect a man from the 1600s. So I'll be honest, man, I didn't watch Wednesday. There's some shows I just don't watch because, like, we're already dealing with that right now. So I just don't feel the need to like watch some of the stuff that's like actively going on on a daily basis. All right. This man kills Wednesday. Then she also resurrects through the life force of her ancestor, which I believe serves as her double, her light side, higher self. Her ancestor has a different name, Goody, but looks, talks, and acts like her. She wears all white versus Wednesday's all black. Man, they really went all in, huh? The antagonist who performs the ritual commits several murders using a hide. Jekyll and Hyde. Interesting. The show explains the hide is a monster that lays dormant within a person and is unlocked by trauma, events, hypnosis, or chemical inducement. Catch my live stream on MK Ultra and the connection to Jordan P. Peterson. We talk a little bit about that stuff. The original Jekyll and Hyde story, Jekyll developed a potion to separate the good and evil aspects of his personality. Lehman's and Jekyll's documents reveal that Jekyll had secretly developed a potion to allow him to separate the good and evil aspects of his personality. He was thereby able to, at will, change into his increasingly dominant evil counterpart, Mr. Hyde. While the respectable doctor initially had no difficulty in returning from his rabid personality, he soon found himself slipping into Mr. Hyde without recourse to his drug. He temporarily stopped using his potion, but when he tried again, Mr. Hyde committed murder. After that, it took a vast amount of potion to keep him from spontaneously becoming Mr. Hyde. Interesting. The show creators have stated Wednesday is about people not showing their true self. The Hyde develops a master-servant relationship with its liberator. Given the trauma, hypnosis, and chemical inducement implications, the mind control agenda comes into play. Wednesday is told the only way to kill this man is to stab him in his black heart. I believe the show chose to have Wednesday's higher self as a character from the past as Janice, past and future nod. The Golden Globes also had Alpha and Omega seats. Interesting. Alpha, Omega. Many speeches went past their allotted time, so Natasha Lyonne spoke about the time issue. We have to end at 11. The only true villain here is Time herself, aka Death's Chariot. You see, Time is supposedly empirical, and since time facilitates death, facilitates death, it's wiser to keep her beat. Interesting. Leon created Russian Doll, which she stars in. The show is about a time loop, trap, and wormholes. The second season is largely about coins from the past equals Janice. Oh, is that show on Netflix? All right. Jennifer Coolidge won an award for White Lotus. Her speech, "You've given me a new beginning, even if this is the end, because you did kill me off. But even if this is the end, you changed my life." A little on the nose, but okay. This season of White Lotus ended with a volcano eruption. Interesting. In order to study, okay, the volcano, its true home. In order to study the serpent, its shape, movements, and habit, as well as awaken the inner serpent fire, the Olmecs ritually consumed hallucinogenic psilocybin mushrooms, which reverently referred to as the flesh of Quetzalcoatl or the flesh of the plumed serpent, while in a drug-induced fourth dimensional state of awareness. The Olmecs witnessed the serpent travel along the principal highway just below the surface of the ground, as well as in and out of volcanic mountains, its true home and entrance to the upper world. The geometrical patterns ornating, ornamenting? Oh, yeah, I can't even think of the word. The serpent's fourth dimensional body were duly recorded, and these shapes provided the basis for many of the Olmec's cult symbols and serpent effigies. All right. Now, the whole thing with Quetzalcoatl is, if you want to go further back, he's one of the Anunnakis. That's from Sumeria in the Middle East. So, that concludes part 1. But while we're at it, let's just jump into part 2 and get that out of the way. Yeah, we got time. Let's do some more. All right. Golden Globes, Thread Part 2. A show that won several awards was Abbott Elementary. About a school in Philadelphia equals City of Brotherly Love equals Janice. I have not seen this show personally. I have seen clips. It does seem like a very, very funny show. All right, the creator of the show, Quinita Brunson, won an award. She starred in the show as Janie equals Janice. One of the main characters is a janitor. In one episode during Halloween, Samhain equals portal to the underworld. A student believes they are haunted by the ghost of a former school janitor equals Janice. The Jeffrey Dahmer actor won an award. In the show, he listens to the victim's heartbeat and tells him he is going to eat his heart. The real Dahmer ate hearts. And there is some connections to Dahmer and the intelligence agencies. Blackbird won an award. The show is a true story and ends with the closing titles that reveal one of the main characters died of a heart attack. Interesting. Closing titles reveal that Larry confessed to 15 murders but later recanted. James died of a heart attack 5 years after Jimmy's release, and Jimmy went on to have a successful business career while still helping law enforcement profile serial killers. That's wild. Okay. Ryan Murphy won an award. They mentioned his older film, The Normal Heart. Pinocchio won an award. Guillermo del Toro is all about his portals. And again, Pinocchio equals PNLI equals Janus portals. And he made a comment during his speech about how Pinocchio is not for children and that adults need to explain it to them. Interesting. Perhaps I might do a thread on Pinocchio. If that is something you guys are interested in, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section. All right. Gerard Carmichael, the host, made a joke about how the event was hosted where Whitney Houston died, the Beverly Hilton. She died from heart complications in a bathtub equals portals. Also, was she another sacrifice? Question mark. Let's get something to drink. Everybody used certain code words throughout the event. Heart was one example. Another was sacrifice. Many recipients thanked others for their sacrifice. Zelensky gave a call-in to talk about sacrificing dreams for personal freedoms. I'm not even going to talk about that right now. God, just looking at that dude's face makes my balls itch. All right. Austin Butler also talked about sacrifice. This is where we enter the climax of the thread. Ooh. Butler won his award for playing Elvis. Elvis died from a heart attack. Elvis' first number one song was Heartbreak Hotel. He also has the song Home is Where the Heart Is. He thanked Presley for opening their hearts to him. Butler specifically thanked Lisa Marie Presley during his speech, who was in attendance. 2 days after the Globes, she went into cardiac arrest, then passed away. That's sad. But if you look at the I guess I could call it right now pendant, but it's a snake on her right side. You see that snake on her. And I don't know if he has it in this thread. But after she died, there were photos of her on the Golden Globes carpet walk. And there's one photo where she's standing there, and you see what looks like a guy wearing this black mask and wearing a black shawl and hoodie. And he's like right behind her, and he's like lurking behind her. Now, I don't know if they had like people like, because you know how sometimes at these events they'll have people wearing like different outfits and what have you. Yes. Oh, you know, so Pinocchio. There's this one film, there's one adaptation of Pinocchio that I actually really, really like, and it's from the 90s. And I can't even think of the name of it. Well, it's called Pinocchio, duh. But it had the kid from, oh man, I can't even think of it. But well, you know what's funny about it is honestly a lot of those characters, they're all just creepy. You know, whether Pinocchio, he's creepy. The whole the Sword of the Stone. You got this old dude hanging out with a little kid, teaching him magic, wearing a dress. It's all weird. It's all weird. It's all weird. I mean, even Disney's like straight to TV films. One of my favorites is what's it called? Don't Look Under the Bed. And even in that film, it's like you're dealing with a lot of like trauma and like mind control and like, are these imaginary characters? Are they really, are they like these entities that these kids create based on their trauma? It's all really weird. And even like, I don't know if you saw, Sam, like the trailer for like the new Pinocchio movie with Tom Hanks. It just looks so weird. Like everything has to be like CGI to the point where it just doesn't even look good. It just looks very bizarre. I and like, Tom Hanks is like, is he hurting for cash? Because this dude is like doing all sorts of like random films. It don't make no sense. Is he hurting for cash? You know, maybe because his son is just running amok, pretending to be a rapper and what have you. If you didn't know that Tom Hanks' son is like this white dude who raps and like says the N word, it's hilarious. Okay, I'll get back into it. Crazier, right, is when she was getting rushed off to the the hospital. When she was getting rushed off to the hospital, her man was getting a heart attack. Like, how crazy is that? Ah, man, this is so wild. It's wild. All right. Okay. Butler, when asked about this, explained, I had 3 years where that was my only focus. I'm sure there's pieces of him in my DNA and I'll always be linked. You can lose touch with who you actually are. And I definitely had that when I finished Elvis, not knowing who I was. Man. It's kind of like Daniel Day-Lewis. Like he would literally completely become the characters, to the point where even when he was offset, he would still be in character. Like Abraham Lincoln, when he did a Lincoln film, even offset, he was Lincoln. So it's wild. It's wild. All right. It sounds like Elvis is his hide. His altar brought out the certain triggers. What clues, connections were in the movie? They said Elvis had the strength of two men because he had a twin who died at birth. Ooh, I did not know that. He had a twin that died at birth. What kind of world do you think it would be if his brother was, if Elvis's brother didn't die and there were two of them and they were both hit singers? What a world that would be. What a world. All right. Elvis is approached to join a major record label with a promise of entering Hollywood while lost in a hall of mirrors equals mind control alters. Hall of Mirrors entrance is a Hall of Mirrors is a clown mouth equals portal. This is also kind of, if you think about Travis Scott and his recent, cluster F of a live show where a bunch of people died. You had people walking into his mouth like a portal. This is at the carnival representing the DMT realm. He's told he'll have to make sacrifices. And there he is. Our Sam's favorite actor, Tom Hanks. Your number one boo. She's in the live stream, Tommy. All right. The movie showed that Elvis idolized Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel Jr. The rock is made of stone from both heaven and hell and allows one to travel through space and time. Oh, sorry. Drop my water. That's interesting. I think, yeah, Captain Marvel. That's a DC character who they had to change his name to Shazam. Interesting. That kind of reminds me of the Thor Yor, but I don't want to get off track. Okay. The movie randomly shows different celebrity deaths. One was the ritualistic stabbings of Sharon Tate. Who was that? That was Manson, right? Oh, come on, Sam. You know you love Tommy Hanks. Don't be hating now. Come on. Yeah, Manson. I think that was the one who stabbed Sharon Tate. He has ties to MK Ultra and intelligence agencies. Check out the book Chaos, where it breaks all that down. You know, back in the '90s, the government had to admit to the MK Ultra. It was Bill Clinton who had to come out and say, "Yeah, we did that, and we ain't doing it anymore." Wink, wink. The movie was about how Elvis was controlled by his manager, Tom Parker. It even included the theory that Parker was behind Elvis's death. Yeah. I believe the op here is to frame Parker as the mastermind behind this control, when he, of course, would have been a pawn taking orders, a possible handler. Yeah, exactly. You know, recently, Ben Affleck came out and pretty much said that Hollywood is just one side of the CIA. So, as we see in examples like the Golden Globes ritual, everything is too coordinated. This control and these rituals are everywhere. Priscilla Presley is behind the upcoming animated show about Elvis, Agent Elvis. Elvis has a has a double life as a spy in a secret government program where he battles dark forces. And of course, it's on Netflix. A synopsis for the series reads: Elvis Presley trades in his jumpsuit for a jetpack when he is covertly inducted into a secret government spy program to battle the dark forces that threaten the country he loves, all while holding down his day job as the king of rock and roll. Oh man. They're running out of ideas, ladies and gents. They're running out of ideas. Okay. Lisa Presley was a Scientologist. Really? Huh. Carmichael made a random Scientology joke, possibly hinted directed at Presley. Man, alright. I'm not gonna play it. I can just read the joke. Okay, Jared Carmichael makes a dig at Scientology backstage. I found these 3 Golden Globe Awards that Tom Cruise returned. I think maybe we take these 3 things and exchange them for the safe return of Shelley, Miss Cavage. I'm trying. I don't remember the whole story behind her, but I think the leader of Scientology, or one of them, was in relation to her disappearance. Okay. A few more numbers. This was the 80th Golden Globes. It started at 8 p.m. and was scheduled to finish at 11. 8 and 11 equal portals. 8 equals time, infinity sign. Who is that? I don't know who's wearing that. Okay. The infinity sign is so layered, we've been seeing it everywhere, especially with portals and rituals such as the World Cup. I am going to do a live stream on the World Cup rituals. I find that one really interesting. The Golden Globes display this infinity-esque symbol like tying into the duality altars. Had to take a picture off old broken phone. Don't roast, please. Interesting. Oh, that's on NBC. I was adding award winners only, but I need to add Severance was nominated. People work for a company that implants a brain chip that separates the employee's work self from their personal actual self. So they have 2 people, and yes, there is black goo. Oh man. Oh, that's not right. Oof, that's not right. And Avatar was also nominated. Heart and Portal references. This and Severance are going to need their own threads. House of Dragon won an award. This season was about the split between 2 houses, the greens and the blacks. There are 2 colors linked to the heart programming. Green equals heart chakra, black equals graphene, and more. Alright, season 1 of House of Dragon. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you haven't. It's an amazing show. Ended with the green house dragon attacking and killing a black house dragon during a storm while leaving Storm's End. Storm equals portal. House of Dragon had several "there's a storm coming" moments. The president of Hollywood Foreign Press gave a speech in a green dress. Ahead of you, behind you, new beginnings. Helen Hohen, HH equals 88. Her speech was also sus, but I couldn't find the video. Serious MK Ultra vibes. I would not be surprised. I was watching a video earlier of Demi Lovato, and she was just talking, and I was just looking at her eyes, and they just seemed lifeless. And that's a theme I've been noticing a lot lately. Is a lot of people, like, who have like those Karen moments or what have you. If you look in those videos of them when they're just losing it, and you look in their eyes, you can sometimes tell there's nothing going on back there. There's no self. There's no soul. And in this video I was looking at Demi Lovato, you could just tell that like her soul has been slowly kind of been sucked out of her. It's sad. So that's the Golden Globe. And okay, the world egg, cosmic egg, or mundane egg. is a mythological motif found in the cosmogonians of many cultures that is present in Proto-Indo-European culture and other cultures and civilizations. Typically, the world egg is beginning of some sort, and the universe of some primordial being comes into existence by hatching the egg, sometimes laying on the primordial waters of earth. Eggs symbolize the unification of two complementary principles represented by the egg white and the yolk. Okay. Kevin Costner won an award for Yellowstone but missed the event because the Golden Globes took place during the crazy storms in California. The calm before the storm. End thread. And definitely makes sense because the Golden Globes were at the beginning of 2023, and this year has been wild. With whether it's what's going on in Europe or what's currently going on here, or what's been going on in South America with the revolutions and the elections. It's kind of interesting that and like I was kind of saying, is like a lot of this stuff is all manufacturing consent. It's all kind of foreshadowing what is to come. This whole idea of the calm before the storm, or when Biden was saying be prepared for a dark winter, and you look at what's going on right now in Europe, and people can barely manage to heat their homes. So it's very telling when you look at these award shows and the need to push their agenda and whatever it is, and like like the Andy was explaining in the thread, like it's all very, like, as you've seen through the thread, it's very, everything is just designed to have a purpose, everything. And it's very telling of how ingrained this system is and how long it has been going on for. And we they would as Hollywood would consider us us plebs and serfs. We're now fortunate to be able to be aware of these things due to the internet, due to Twitter, due to all these various ways of communication that allow us to know about a lot of these crazy things that are going on. It's and what the elites are into. And it's very telling. It's kind of you, and you think about it, even with like with Severance, where it talked about where you had two personalities. You had the work personality, and then you had who you really are. And this whole idea of even going on in our own climate now, with just this narrative of kind of pushing us into this monotheistic type of thinking and way of life, which allows for more control, which allows for more manipulation. So what I found interesting about this thread and is just the sorry about that, the power of manifestation. Now, I don't know if anyone out there is believes in manifestation. I think it's a very real thing. You see it happening all the time, and it's in relation to the manufactured consent, because they need us to manifest their plans through the consent. So it's kind of like when I was talking about that movie on Netflix called white noise about the chemical explosion in Ohio and about that family trying to escape, and that movie was filmed in a town that was like 20 miles near the site of the chemical explosion. So it's all there in front of you. You have these. I mean, it's similar to Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, it must. I haven't seen it. Apparently, it's an amazing film. But if you notice how they don't tell you, uh, yeah, manifestation is absolutely real. And if you notice in the Top Gun Maverick film, they don't tell you who the enemy is that they're fighting. And at one uh, at one point, even in the film, um, on Tom Cruise's jacket, he had a Taiwan patch, and they had to digitally remove it because of China. And then you're kind of seeing what's kind of going on right now with these balloons and China and all of that. You're looking at they're trying to manifest certain events and situations, and they need us to manufacture the consent to follow through on those manifestations. And it's so alarming and just wild to kind of see all of that. And even with these balloons, it's like whether or not they are from China or they're, and the unidentified object they shot down, whether they're from China or whether they're our own and it's a psyop, or whether it's Project Bluebeam, it doesn't matter. It could be all of those, but it's the narrative that they're going to spin around it. And if they use the narrative of saying, yes, these are Chinese things, Chinese technology, the next thing you know, there'll be another one and it has a payload on it. And who knows what that payload could be. And it then ends up leading to us eternally manufacturing consent to want to engage in conflict with China. And it could be like, a balloon that drops a payload on the U.S. simultaneously dropping one on Taiwan. So all of these kind of things are going on, and they use the films and TV shows to also aid in pushing these manifestations. It's so wild when you really think about it. How it kind of gets to the point where how much of this world is so like controlled and designed. Like I did a live stream, and I highly recommend you guys check it out, where I talked about elongated skulls and the presidential bloodline, and how there's a connection between a bloodline of elongated nobility and our presidents. And I can't really, I'm not going to say too much on it because I don't want to get in trouble, but I highly recommend you check out the live stream because I do a really good job of breaking it all down. But it's essentially like what I'm trying to say is like you got to start, as I love to say, as the veil continues to be unlifted, you have to continue to keep asking yourself, how much is a distraction? How much is them, manifesting some event or idea? I don't know if you guys caught when they were pushing the idea of banning gas stoves in favor of electric, which is stupid. And I know there's some people out there who will be like, oh no, electric is better, it's more efficient. No, it's not. And there was an uproar. People went ballistic. They're like, what the heck are you talking about? You're going to have to come and take my gas stove away from me. Everyone was like, this is crazy. And then they dialed back. They were like, no, we're not going to do that. But it's their way of testing the waters. Like if people are like, oh yeah, that's a really interesting idea. Yeah, we need to go green. We need to save the planet. And then they ban gas stoves. And then you're eating soggy eggs, and your meat isn't well cooked. So, but anyway, and then it's just wild to me. But this is what you're gonna see constantly in this world that we're living in, is the constant manufacturing of consent through manifestation. And using films and TV shows is a perfect way of doing it. And sometimes, like we were talking about that show Utopia, which they ended up canceling, is because when people were watching it, it came out right in the middle of the pandemic. So when people were watching it, and then look, they'd go outside and look around, they're like, well, this is hitting a little too close to home. So sometimes they end up putting stuff out that is like, even they know, like, oh man, we should have dialed that one back. Like, oof, that's not going to look good in a couple of years or in a couple months. And you're seeing that with that film, White Noise, because it's been making the rounds on Twitter. Everyone's been comparing the situation in Ohio to the film White Noise, and people are start asking themselves, like, well, that's a little weird. Why would they do that? Why would they make a film about a toxic explosion that was caused by a train derailment? And wait, why would they make that film in the same state of the current toxic situation? And wait a minute, they made the film miles away from the exact same town? Like, just put on your critical thinking cap, and just take a second and be like, well, that's a little weird. And then all of a sudden you have another one that happened in Tucson, and there's a guy named Jay Pylon. He does numerology, and he was talking about how things are going to be coming in doubles this year. And you have the four balloons, or two balloons and two unidentified objects, and now you have two chemical explosions. So we're going to be seeing a lot of things happening in doubles. And I think what's also interesting about this thread is, and for anyone out there listening, and for Sam, is that these are things for us to now kind of keep an eye out and pay attention to whenever we're watching our shows or films or listening to celebrities talk, what they're wearing, how they're dressing. Do they make any weird hand gestures? Because even there, you can tell. In Carmichael's speech, at the beginning of his speech, he actually does a Freemason gesture, where you put your right hand inside the coat of your jacket. And he does that right at the beginning to let everyone know, hey, this is a safe space. You're in a safe space, okay? So, no, it's all right there in front of you. They have to kind of put that out there for you. And, only those who are aware of that stuff, who either participate in it or who study it, will catch on to those little things. So, and to kind of wrap everything up, because I'm gonna keep doing some more streams on some other threads. I have another one I'm gonna do tomorrow. We're gonna do the big one tomorrow. So Sam, to let you know, on Wednesdays I tend to do my bigger topics, and tomorrow we're gonna talk about Kanye and his experiences with mind control, and his gym trainer who is actually worked for Canadian intelligence and created mind control chemicals. But we'll get into that tomorrow. But just so you know, I tend to stream once or twice a day. On the weekends, I try to do it twice if I can. And it's always going to be various topics, as you can see, all things, everything. And sometimes I'll have like a theme where I might be just focusing on, this stuff right here, where we're going to be talking about different, occult rituals and stuff like that, or, science stuff for ancient civilizations. So I try to keep it, different each stream, and sometimes I might just do one where we're just hanging out, just talking, and what have you. But I just think that for all of us, we just need to be aware of our surroundings and just the kind of things that they're putting out there for us. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Sam. I really appreciate that you came by, you hung out, you stuck with us through this wild little thread. You got to gush over your boy Tom Hanks for a little bit. I'm really happy for you. So and just for you, Sam, just for you, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a live stream on Pinocchio, and we'll break down that puppy, and see what's going on there. But yeah, it's just 2023 is gonna be a very, very telling year. So I would say for everyone out there, just don't be surprised anymore. Okay, every day you're gonna wake up and there's gonna be some nonsense. Just don't be surprised. Just expect it. Just expect the rest of 2023 to just be wild and ridiculous and unhinged. But I do believe that we can, as the veil continues to lift and as they continue to mess up and put this stuff out there, we as individuals will be able to push back. And you're seeing a little bit there, here and there, but we just need to get more people out there aware of the reality of things. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Ronin, all things, everything. Please share this stream if you like it. Make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment with your thoughts below. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.